So how are these pine cupboards put together then? Let's have a look what we've got. So you can see they've used, what's that, 18-20mm block board. You can see the blocks there. They've just done a through joint, 2 supports on there, and then the front bit, I don't know if you can make that out. They've just took a bit more out for the fascia piece there, and then they've mited in there because they've got this detail on, which will be a, what do you call that, a slot saw or something. They've put that in with. Pretty simple. They dovetail the front on, but then they've put a separate front on. I presume they make standard carcasses and then just, you've got a choice of raw fronts or whatever. I don't know, it's 20 years old, this kitchen. It was a designer job from somewhere down Bristol way. Block boards in the bottom of the drawers as well. That's only about 5mm though, I would have said. Might have been 1/4 inch. Standard on there. See the back is just T&G. In the bottom's a block board again, which is probably about 15mm-ish. Might be 18 again. One. This is just the false fascia half a newel, which supports the granite. The actual cupboard edge is here. You can't see with that off, but it's like a. I'll show you one over here. So I took this off. They use a lot of this 15mm stuff just as a fascia over the block board, and they put their slotted saws in there just to make it look like T&G. The main carcass is this 18mm stuff, and obviously they've just putted that on, haven't they, straight away without even a slot. But that's just for this. That takes the newel. I've actually moved this newel. It was on the wrong side of the cupboard. It was second hand, this kitchen, and it's whatever. It goes on and on. So I'm going to put this post on the other side of the cupboard, and we've flipped the granite over that was on it because it's got the noggin on for the granite, and I've polished the other side. It's coming on, it's getting there. Doors are pretty simple. If you're just doing shaker style, you won't bother putting the finish, the beading on that they've got on the inside. But that's obviously just slotted out. Put in. Bottom's about 18-20mm as well. But it looks alright. See this rough side, that's where they're using these 15mm panels on the outside of it as well. What else have we got? There we go. Shelf. That's about 20mm as well. Now they've used these drill peg slot things. You slot a brass little peg in there to adjust the shelf. Obviously got them on all sides. Bifold door because it's a corner, obviously. Pretty simple really. Let's have a look at this one. They've hacked to bits because in the original cupboard there was plug sockets and stuff, so they've hacked every side of the unit out. So I've stuck on this 12mm, 15mm I think it is, piece that came with a kitchen, which unfortunately leaves the granite not long enough, but I'm going to put a nice piece of wood or something on there, even if it's just a bead. Take it over the end. It'll come nice in the end. Here's the one I've hacked to bits. This was a kitchen island. That was one half of the island, that unit there. That one over there on the right, that was the other half of the island. But it had a massive piece of granite on the top, and it was about 870 wide, which was too wide for what we wanted. And the granite cracked, so it's getting chopped up. You see, they're all just on standard plastic doofers. You get a bag full of a 40 or something from Screwfix for about 17 quid. That's them black ones. They're on there, they're alright. Use wide heads on them, or it just pulls the heads through the screws. This has only got bracing on because this was part of the island. The rest of the cupboards haven't got any bracing. But you get a good feel for how they've made the unit. Pretty basic stuff. They're not even screwed, these are just glued in into the slot. The screw holes are where they've made individual cupboards, and then they screwed it all together on site presumably, because it was a huge island. It wouldn't fit through a standard door unless it was in bits. Yeah, and they've used some quite thick stuff. And then kickboards. If I get one of these, here's a kickboard. I know this is off this one, but obviously I've had to lower these because we've had the floor raised, so the kickboards are too high at the minute, but they would have sat just on this little bit of rubbish they've got on the bottom. And then return miter on itself would have fitted under there originally. But yeah, I'm going to make all new kickboards for this. And the other idea for kickboards is what they had on the island, which are these, which just slotted, although this is the long side, just slotted underneath onto blocks. When it's, let me get that wire out of the way, when it's recessed a bit, they don't look too bad actually. I might have that the wrong way up, I think I have. There you go. And then we've got these wall units. See how this 15mm bit on the side with the slots in again? I used 18mm for the, or 20 for the main carcass. I've done that quite a lot. Nice bit of coving on the top, which I can actually match it, but for the sake of a 6-inch bit, and I've got to make a load of new wall units for over there, I'll probably just take it off. This was up against the corner in the last place it was in originally, so I've got to miter all this, take this off and put a nice edge on it. Whatever, I might just fill these and polish them up. Or if I can get more of that 15mm cheap, and I can get the slotting right, slot saw, I'll probably put some of this on the other side. Got a granite top for that, just got to cut it out of the bit that was broke. Drawers on this are pretty simple again. These ain't even got runners in, these are just next to each other. But same again. Standard box. Nice dovetails. Probably machined. And these are actually dovetailed on the fronts, aren't they? Rather than having a separate front, they've made them. Let me get the light right. We've actually made them and then put the bead on the outside. And, yeah, see how thick the base is. Not much. What's that? 10mm, if that? 8mm? Probably 10. Replacement knobs. This one was all, it's also some sort of polyurethane with an oxblood over the top, and the oxblood's gone into all the grooves and just gives it a bit of highlight. Nice bit of turning on there, if you can be bothered. They're going to be front of sand, aren't they? Same again for the cupboards. If you're doing shaker style, it'd be easy enough, you won't even have to put the beadings on. And shelf brackets, so them the little brass. I've got some somewhere. I've got them nice and safe. There they are. You see them there? Them little things. No idea what they're called. Shelf hangers, I would have thought. But it's just an hole with a brass collar in and a nice slot in. And your shelf sits on there. Bit of accurate drilling, away you go. This slot sawing's quite nice, how we've done this, just for the effect. And then, well, that's nice and stable, isn't it? Not even glued half of this, look. You can see how they've mitered it in just to get the slot sawing right. Might have to do something with that. It's all just thrown in a bit really at the moment until it gets sorted out on the finish. probably fit the sink and the corner bits over here in, finish it in the kitchen, but the rest of it I'll take individually into the workshop when I get my workshop back, which is full of mount furniture at the moment. I can't even get in there. And that's about it. It's pretty simple, really. There's a few more bits here. This was more parts of the island. You can see how they've done the fascia on that. That was a wine rack or something. Pretty simple. T&G on the back. And there's another bit here, which if I move the bits of Uber, it's upside down. Well, this is a plate rack. Similar sort of style to the rest of the kitchen. Same coving and what have you. Obviously it's upside down. I did have this up for a bit, but see how they made the main carcass and then they've put this 15mm on the outside. So you could have your screws obviously off the main carcass and then something a bit nicer on the outside. Pretty simple really though. All them units with the central island, all that lot, it would have been 20 years ago, the guy paid 27 grand for his designer kitchen with the granite and everything. We bought it for, I think it was 1,500 quid in the end, off eBay about 10 years ago. Bargain. Anyway, I think that's it. That's how kitchens are put together these days. Hope that helps.